All right, everybody, we're going to go through our juice titration today. I've got some Florida's Natural, looks like some no pulp calcium and vitamin D orange juice. And what I've done is I've taken 5 milliliters of our juice, I put it into our Erlenmeyer flask, and I added some water to help really kind of help us see the color change a bit better. And then I'm going to add my starch now as my indicator solution. All right. So something like this experiment that we're doing here, this could really be used like by a food chemist and to really verify what the manufacturer says as far as how much vitamin C is in a sample of juice or in a serving size. All right. So so if I was doing this in a more deliberate way, I would also be recording my initial volume of my iodine as we begin our titration. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding this, and let's see here, and it's starting to turn purple as I add my iodine dropwise. So it's starting to turn purple. You can kind of see it as the drops hit. The challenge of this lab is that when you're titrating a cloudy sample like this, is where is your endpoint? Where is that color change? And what you want to think about is when does it turn a color that it wasn't before and stay that way? And with a sample like this, it can be difficult. What you could do is that you could have like a control, and in that control you would say, okay, here's my sample before I did anything, and here's my sample when I think I've reached my endpoint. Now my sample got kind of a darker kind of color here than it was before, and I think this is my endpoint. So what I would do is I would record the volume in my burette. And then if I think that I've reached my endpoint, I'm going to record that, and I'm going to add one more drop. If I add one more drop to this and it gets substantially darker, then I think the previous reading was my endpoint. If I add another drop but the color doesn't change, then I hadn't reached my endpoint yet. All right, so I'm going to try to add that one extra drop and see what happens. Okay, so to me that got darker than it was before. It's a little bit hard to tell from the side view. So I think I had reached my endpoint. And so I would take my previous measurement that I had recorded, and that would be the endpoint for my sample. So again, just kind of verify that I had reached the endpoint. If all the vitamin C is gone, then the iodine reacts with the starch. So yeah, so if I hadn't reached it before, I think definitely there's my sample. And so when I'm titrating multiple samples as I normally would, I would try to reach the same endpoint with this juice sample. But one of the challenges of this process is that our juice sample has a color to it, and it has an opacity to it. It has like a cloudiness to it. And so those are all challenges when we're titrating a juice sample like this. All right? Thanks for watching.